Hey, what's up, folks? Right here coming to you with Movement Monday, Ray and Ryan. That's Ryan. I am Ray, and we're coming to you to talk to you about movement, exercise, and fitness and nutrition, and how that all works together. How you doing, Ryan?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm good.
Good.
I'm actually really good. So yeah.
Good.
Won't delay too much. We'll go ahead and jump right in. Ryan, you want to kick us off?
Yeah, we're kind of talking before we got on here. I coached a youth basketball team and we ended up winning a league championship and talking to my kids going into our last couple of games, and I think this relates to a lot what we're doing as well. That we kind of put ourselves in a position to go win it. And you can't just get complacent of being, hey, we've made it this far. You gotta go finish. You gotta
Mm-hmm.
keep working, keep pushing. And I think that kind of fits into where we're at with what we're trying to do here with the time of year that we're in. I feel like we've kind of set ourselves up for success with the goals we've set, the routines that we're starting to get into. But now we can't get complacent with where we're at. We've got to keep pushing forward, keep moving forward, keep working. If you're starting to see progress, and hey, I'm going to hit these goals, that's great. Go hit them, but maybe we can push that bar a little further.
Indeed.
And you can't just sit back on your heels and kind of cruise. Now's the time to. Okay, we've been a little successful, or maybe haven't been as successful yet. But you still got to keep pushing, keep moving forward.
Stay the course.
Yeah,
Yeah. No, and that's so powerful and so true. And I think, a lot of times people don't think about that. And first off, congratulations on the championship. That's awesome.
thank you.
Way to go, coach.
Yeah,
I know that, it's a different thing when you're not playing, but it means a lot more to see the joy in your kids as a coach, especially for youth sports. And so that's awesome. Good job.
yeah, thank you.
Um, Speaking of which, in this kind of rolls, right into conversations that I've had with Cruz, my son, lately, as he prepares or has been preparing for baseball assessments, and so registered him for a higher division than he's played in before, and so we've been working a little bit harder on getting him prepared. It's not so much of a show up and just do what you do because you're good enough. It's more of a he's trying out for majors and he'd be young in majors. He's only 10, but I think he's capable. I've gotten some feedback from my cousin who has older kids and has coached older kids, um, a little bit older than Cruz. And he says, I think Cruz is ready. He just needs to be put in the environment. And so as we work through these things, working on different hitting styles or hitting drills and you know, just different form, different style, different um, stances and whatnot, as well as, throwing the ball and concentrating and I've gone to a coaching clinic recently and just learning different things as my son gets older and my brain, learns different things. It's powerful. But he and I had a discussion, just throwing the ball earlier a few days ago, and it was talking about well, if you make majors, that's great. If not, then we try for next year.
Hmm.
And so I have very little doubt that he's not going to make the majors team. He's a good ball player, and but I'm also trying not to give him that mentality of it's a shoe in, you've got it, because it does take work and you need to prove that you're willing to work. But not only that, my nephew plays, for Centralia College, right down the street from you there. And it was a good example for me to tell him, that the reason why he's able to play at the college level is because he didn't stop trying when he made majors. He didn't stop trying when he made a select team. He didn't stop trying when he made, the varsity team for in high school. He didn't stop trying once they got to, a point where they were good enough that he had to think about the next level every time. And so, you know, and even in, you know, at college, you know, you join a team and you may not be starting. So you got to keep trying until you get to start,
Mhm.
because the likelihood of you joining a team and starting is slim. It is a possibility, but if you don't start, you have to keep trying and proving that you want to get to that next level. So it's an appropriate time to be discussing this because it fits into so many different levels. But you're right in that, you know, I think as adults we forget that, you know, when we reach that goal, it's the time to set a new goal. It's not okay. Well, I'm good. But, you know, now I'm done. Because, you know, I had a discussion recently, even with regards to diet, and you know, diet's a bad word, um, because a lot of times when they talk about their diet, it's because they're in a temporary adjustment to what they're eating rather than changing their lifestyle. And once
Mhm.
that diet ends, then they go right back to what they were doing, and then don't necessarily understand why they gain the weight back. And that's not everybody, but it's a good majority of people. When you have a diet mentality of just got to get through this, but what happens when you get through it? What's the next step? How do you maintain? How do you know, stay consistent? How do you, you know, how do you keep the weight off? So, and you know, there's no set answer. It's
Yeah, yeah. No, I think complacency kills, and
mhm,
you gotta keep moving. You know, if you wanna, like we're trying to do, and I'm sure probably many others that tune in with us, you know, if you want to keep progressing and being healthy, you have to keep working at it. It's not a okay, I got to this level, I'm good, I can turn it off now. You have to keep working at it. I mean, it's work. It's not just okay, I made it, I'm there. You got to keep moving, keep doing things. You know, find the things that are working for you, keep doing those. You know, and the stuff that's not quite working the way you want it to, you know, tweak it a little bit, change it up, do something different. But it's a constantly evolving, moving mechanism. It's not just okay, you get there and you're good. You gotta grind.
well, and it turns into other things. You know, sometimes what you're working on complements other things that you're working on. You know, you and I doing these here complement our workout regimen. It complements our business. It complements our, you know, supplementation and our you know, meal prepping and you know, or whatever, however we eat, and it complements the supplement side of our business, and some of it can complement as well the, you know, the self care side of our business as well. But you know, I look at where I'm at and where I've been and how I got here, and it's continuing to set goals. And I look at the likes of, you know, I'll say the bad word that everybody doesn't want to hear right now because of the Super Bowl and all of that, but Taylor Swift. You look at her, you think that if once she got that first Grammy or got that first #1 album, if she stopped and said, "Woo, hit my goal," that she'd be where she's at. No, she's gonna,
Mhm.
you know, have endorsements. She's gonna build better albums. She's gonna build that connection. She's gonna continue to build the connection. She's gonna continue to, you know, to find different ways. You know, you look at, you know, Beyonce, that, you know, that she's got her hand in so many different things in fashion and design, and you know, just those types of pop stars, those people that continue to build on what they've built and find things that complement themselves, but also set new goals to help take them to those next levels. And there's a reason why, you know, that those types of peoples and celebrities and whatnot find a fit body and are able to keep it. Yes, it's expensive, and yes, they have more money and they're able to pay a trainer, but they're all, you know, and able to pay a personal chef and whatnot. But also, it's because they had goals and they find ways to meet those goals. And those goals have to work with other things. You have to keep working at that so that way you can keep affording to pay for that trainer. You can afford to pay for, you know, that personal chef. You can afford to pay for these things. And so it just becomes kind of a necessity to continue to build your goals so that we can continue to be better and better every day.
Oh, for sure. I think I was gonna go down the road you just went down, but you beat me to it. So get out of my head. But no, I
Yeah.
was immediately thinking, the higher up you get in whatever you're doing, athletics, music,
Uh-huh.
it doesn't matter what you're doing. The higher you get up, there's going to be somebody one spot below you that wants your spot.
Yeah.
And so you have to keep working. If you want to maintain where you're at or get higher, you have to keep working because there's somebody
Yes.
behind you that's going to be, sometimes working twice as hard because they want your spot. And I think that's great that you're having that conversation at a young age with your son.
Yeah.
To kind of get that thought process rolling in his head that, yeah, you want to keep doing this and keep progressing, but you got to keep working because once you get there, that doesn't mean you're there. There's always going to be somebody else that's working to try to take your spot. And you kind of have to keep that in the back of your head that, hey, I'm not safe where I'm at.
Well, and it doesn't always have to be a bad thing that somebody's coming for your spot, because that's typically a lot of times what drives most competitive people is I know somebody's right behind me. When I've ran half marathons, there's people that I've seen or people that I've even ran with that I'm like, I can't let them catch me. And so that's going to drive me to push harder. But that's my means of continuing to push myself in that moment. But there's also, we've seen it plenty of times before. Surround yourself with those people that you want, that you want to be like. If there's 4 millionaires at the table, you want to be the fifth. And that's the mentality. And so surround yourself with those kind of people that help drive you to be better, that help have those conversations that are driving you to that next goal, and learn to accept that. But also don't be selfish, because you never know who is watching you and coming for your spot, and that can help propel you to that next level. You don't want to burn bridges. You don't want to be a bad person. You want to be a good person, and you want to make sure that people enjoy being around you, so that way you can continue to build on your craft, or whatever your goals, whatever you're working on. Because it only helps you to have that competition, or to be that leader. If you give up, how many people behind you that you're inspiring that you don't know are you letting down? Because there's people that are watching you all the time, people that may be watching you as a hater, like, oh, this guy, but also that's fine. They're watching you. And so they want to see you fail. So don't let them see that. But, at the same time, there's people that are watching you that are rooting for you that you don't even know that are rooting for you. And, give them something to be proud of and something to be impressed by. And, most importantly, that person in the mirror, you want to give yourself, somebody to be impressed by, and be proud of your accomplishments, and be prepared to set better ones, because, success is it's addicting. When you have success, you want more of it. So, that's
absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I'm the same way. I love that competition. I wish I would have learned that a little younger in life, that, hey, you need to be working hard all the time because there's somebody behind you that wants your spot. And not that I didn't work hard, but I know, looking back, like I'm sure a lot of us can, could I have worked harder? Absolutely.
Yeah.
But, now that I've gotten older and, wiser, I hope, actually thinking about all that stuff, I'm like, oh man, I wish I would have pushed myself a little more in this spot. Wish I would have done a little more there, because what would that have changed to where I'm at now? Who knows? But
yeah.
So yeah, I try to, with the kids that I coach, the teams that I coach, I'm like, hey, you gotta work hard all the time. We talk a lot about integrity, doing what's right when nobody's watching you. Obviously when everybody's eyes are on you, you're gonna do what you're supposed to do. But when you're the only one walking down that hall, or you're the only one in the gym, what are you doing?
Yeah.
So
I have 4 signs in Cruz's room that are as he walks out of his door, and one of them is do the right thing even when nobody's watching. So that tracks exactly with that. And he wanted to move them recently, and I was like, I I need them to be on your way out of the door, because even if you don't read them every day, they're there. And at some point, it's going to catch your eye, and you're going to remember the discussions that we had when he was younger about specifically what do these things mean.
Yeah.
And so, it is very important to do the right thing even though nobody's watching. And he's shown leadership skills, and it's become kind of a joke in our house because I wanted to name him Leader when Sabrina was pregnant, and she's like, "We're not naming him Leader. That's a terrible name." And I'm like, I don't think it's terrible, but and I still don't think it's terrible, but
Yeah.
it's kind of a joke now because he does have leadership qualities, and her thing was, well, what if he's not a leader? And I was like, he'll be a leader, trust me. So but now I'll say, hey, leader, and he goes, that's not my name, let's not. Yeah, but yeah, I mean, and it's such a powerful message, and I look at those things that I have on his wall every once in a while, and it's things that were intended for me as a dad to get ingrained in his head from the get-go. But when he asked to move things around on his wall in his room, it quickly made me realize that these things are a long time from being unnecessary. And at my age, as his dad, I don't know that they're not necessary for me to see them every once in a while. And so it's a good reminder, and it's probably a reminder that not a lot of people have ever taken, or they may have heard it but never listened to. And so,
yeah, I mean,
they say that.
Just be kind. I mean, it's a pretty simple statement, but I think it's a simple thing to do. I mean, if you really think about it, just be nice to people. It's, you can go pretty far with that.
Yeah. That is a challenge within itself because not everybody wants you to be nice to them. And sometimes you just have to be the bigger person and be like, well, I don't know what you're going through. And that's another thing that, I try to remind them of people, if there's kids that are bad at school and they're doing bad things, that doesn't mean that you join them. That means that you don't know what's going on in their life, what kind of attention they're looking for. And we need to take that in consideration when kids are acting up, that it's not room for you to judge them. It's room for you to see whether or not you can help them, because maybe they need somebody to talk to. Maybe there's not somebody to care for them the way that you're cared for. We don't know. And that's the thing is, cliche social media is, you don't know what anybody's going through. And so, but it's so true. And it's just, it's an important reflection to have every day.
Yeah. Well, my mind keeps going, and this is a whole nother topic for a whole nother show, like we kind of talked about before getting on here. But sometimes when people act out like that, they don't know how else to communicate that, hey, I need help. So they'll do something like that to get the attention, and then now they can get that process going. But you don't know that all the time. So, but that's a whole nother day, whole nother conversation.
Definitely. And I'm sure we could probably have a good hour conversation on that.
Oh, probably.
Well, and that's one of the things that, I've learned in the corporate world is talking to people sometimes when you talk to somebody who's not used to being talked to, the types of treat the janitor the same way you treat the CEO. Those small things go a long way. And and it's important because maybe they can't do anything for you directly, but also it's good to build the character that's that person, and that that'll take you different places in the world, because the more you practice being a kind person, the more you are a kind person. It's not just a facade. So
yeah, absolutely.
Alrighty. Anything else you wanted to touch on before we wrap up, or?
No, I think that was good.
Yeah, no, I agree, and I'm glad that you brought this up. It's very important. Those goals are meant to be hit, but they're also not meant to be complacent and just be okay with, well, I don't need to set any more goals. You always have to have new goals, otherwise you're stuck. So
Yep. Yeah.
yeah. Good deal. Alrighty. Well, we'll wrap up again. Movement Monday here with Ray and Ryan. I'm Ray. That's Ryan. If you're watching us on YouTube, thank you for joining us. Thank you for the support. Please give us a like, give us a share, give us a follow. We'd love the support. If you movement and or supplementation and nutrition is a passion of yours and you'd like to join us for a conversation, we'd love to have the guests. Anytime we've had guests in the past, it's always a great conversation. Typically, it takes away a little bit from us just rambling, even though we have, such beautiful voices, very manly, beautiful voices, right? So, but yeah, no, reach out to us, let us know. Once again, Ryan and I are both promoters for Innovative Posh. And so we have a line of vitamins, supplements, skincare, and self-care products. There's literally something for everybody in our business. So if that's anything that's of any interest to you, please feel free to reach out to either one of us. We can get you some samples if it's a product that can be sampled, or get you some information or just help you with advice. Let us know. We're both pretty active. Oh, hey, kitty cat. Other than that, thanks for joining us, and we will talk to you later. Have a good
Have a good one.
Bye now.